Welcome to the Partnership Path Podcast, a space where your partner management challenges are transformed into insights, where your expertise isn't just recognized, but celebrated. You're not alone on this partnership journey. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, we're here to guide you, to equip you. Dive deep with us into the world of partner management as we bring you real-world insights, expert advice, and strategies that truly make a difference. Ready to elevate your career? Let's take another step on this journey together.
Hello, John.
Hey, Toni. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to better weather, but I'm good.
I know. We're all looking forward to that. Wow.
Yeah.
Let's take another step on the partnership path. I have been thinking since our last episode, John, which is a dangerous thing.
Uh-oh. I'm nervous
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. But the thing, obviously, it relates to our conversations, relates to the podcast. I often think that being a partner business professional, channel manager, is a lot like being a kind of a diplomat, where you're working between two parties who may not speak the same language, who may not want to go about things in the same way, but somehow got to bring them together. And
Yeah.
you've got to bring them together often in a document that everyone has to sign up and agree
Yeah.
to. So I would
Yeah.
like to hear your thoughts on how you go about bringing together the wants and needs of two separate organizations into something
Yeah.
we can all jointly agree on.
Yeah. I love that analogy, Toni. Thinking about this role as a diplomat, that's a great parallel. I might steal that from you and put that into some of our content because I really like that. Yeah, so you're absolutely right. That analogy is exactly on target because much like that diplomatic scenario, I think partnership business planning has to start with answering a really basic question, which is why are we in business together? Like if both you and I can't really super clearly articulate why we're at the table, then what's the point? And,
Yeah,
and I actually think this is a really good test for figuring out how serious your partnership is, like whether the people
yeah,
that say they want to be your partner are really interested in partnering, or whether they just want to use you sort of as a me too, or kind of a column fodder sort of offering.
yeah,
Because if they can't answer that key question, it gets really, really hard to put a partnership business plan together and then actually execute against that. Um,
yeah.
yeah, is that where you want to go? Is that what you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think so. I've just got these visions of people going, why are we here? Why are we even here?
Yeah,
But it's a very valid question because I remember there being, there are partners who want to have a gold vendor accreditation because it then gives them access to lists or
yeah,
consortiums, or it's so they can bid for business, and they're like,
yeah,
we just want the badge.
yeah.
So I think it's a very valid question. Yeah.
Oh, I love that example too, right? Because that's one of my favorite things to challenge channel managers and partner managers on when we say, well, what's this partner's goal? Like, why do they want to be in business with you? And they say, oh, well, they want to achieve, whatever status. They want to be platinum. They want to
Yeah.
be gold. They want to be 5-star. Whatever your partner
Yeah.
program has. And you say, why? Like, okay, but why? And to your point, if the reason they want that is because it gets them certain things, then the
Mm.
goal isn't the status, it's those certain things. And so having that
Yes.
why conversation is how we get there, right?
Yeah.
And I think this conversation is so important that we lead as the partner manager, channel managers, that we lead with transparency, right? That when we
Yeah.
sit down even at a strategic level to say, look, we're in this to drive license revenue. We're in this to drive consumption. We're in this to
Yeah.
drive, our stuff. Obviously we wouldn't be here if that isn't what we wanted. We want to find a way to
Yeah.
drive more of our stuff. What are you here for? Right.
Yeah.
And to have them actually respond, hopefully, with something equally transparent is how we
Yeah.
get there. For them to say, well, the truth is we want to get to your sales reps because we want access to your accounts. Or the truth is we're trying to break into a geography that we're not in, but you are. Or we're trying to
Yeah.
break into an industry that we can't seem to get into, but you're already there. Right.
Yeah.
If we both know what it is the other party wants, it makes it so much easier to figure out, okay, so now how do we build a partnership that makes sense for that? Like, what are we gonna do together? And
Yeah.
I think to your point, that means that I think we lead with transparency, but very often that first answer isn't transparent back, and we have to challenge
Mm.
that. We have to really challenge them. So when they say back, well, we're in this because we want to be your number one go-to partner, and
Yeah.
we should be like a 2-year-old in response and say why.
Why? But
Yeah,
why? Yeah.
yeah, and then they say
Yeah.
something else, and we say, yeah, but why? Yeah, but
Yeah.
why? Right. And lead them down that path, because I sometimes I don't think it's necessarily that the partners are being purposefully uh uh non-transparent. I just think
Mm.
sometimes they don't think it through all the way. They haven't necessarily thought through exactly why they're at the table, and they think, well, Tony's asking me this question for a reason. I wonder what that is. So, what
Yeah.
does she really want to hear from me? And then they try and
Yeah.
give you something that they think you want to hear.
Yeah. And it's so i that's so true, because I think often I would get asked, so what is it that's going on at Microsoft, and why are they doing this, and when is this going to happen? Always, what's the roadmap for blah? Um, but actually, if you're both trying to second guess what the other wants, I mean, it's like any relationship, isn't it? Where you have a fallout and you go, but I thought you wanted this. And they're like, no, and you never
Yeah,
asked me what I wanted. Um,
right.
so I think
That's right.
it's communication is critical.
Yeah,
And if I think about an example I had where there was a customer that was going Google and the partner was helping them, it caused like the the meetings I had to sit in. But actually, what the partner really wanted was to help the chief technology officer be really successful, because they wanted to be a disruptor and they wanted to transform what was going on. So if we had known that, we could have gone,
right.
what can we bring to bear that will help the partner
That's
help
right.
their end customer achieve their objective? But nobody had spoken about that. So
Yeah,
we didn't know till afterwards.
yeah. And look, what a great story, right? Like, if you were still a partner account manager, to be able to sit down with another partner and tell that exact story, to say, look,
Yeah,
here's what I'm looking for. Let me tell you about what happened with this other partner. And we
yeah,
did this, we spent all this time, and ultimately we were spinning our wheels until somebody finally said, no, no, no,
yeah,
what we really want is this.
yeah.
Then we could act on it. And the truth is this is an investment from both parties. And so knowing upfront
Hmm.
whether it's a good investment or not is
Mm,
is super important and super valuable. Right now,
yeah.
we'll get into this, I think, in another episode, but this is another place
Mm,
to also kind of figure out, are you talking to the right people? Right?
yeah,
Because if you're only talking to the other party's alliance manager, they don't know. They just know that they
yeah.
they were assigned the Microsoft partnership or the Informatica partnership or whatever.
Mm,
And the truth is they don't maybe know what those reasons are. And so if your why questions end up in blank stare answers or I don't knows, you're
mm.
probably not talking to the right people. And that means you need to kind of readjust and go somewhere else. So,
Yeah, I think there's definitely an episode in that on helping your counterpart on the other side to explore some of those things within
yeah.
their own business, because I know you can get
Yeah.
parked oh, your alliances, you go over here. And I guess by the same
Yeah.
token, to bring the why to the partnership. So as a channel manager, you need to know really what's going on in your business versus
Yeah.
saying, well, I'm here because I was allocated you.
Yeah. You just, with what you just said, Toni, I think you just named this episode. I think we'll call this episode "Bringing the Why to Your Partnership." I like that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's really what it is, right? It really is sitting down and saying, why are we doing this? Why are you here? Why am I here? Why does this matter? What you want
Yeah.
and what I want? Why does it matter to the customer? And
Yeah.
then let's build a partnership around that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it should be
I think
something that's easy
I think
to
we should.
state.
Yeah. It
Mm.
usually is. It's usually not
Yeah.
complicated, right? So
No.
just ask the question why. This is always my advice to people is act like you're two. Go back to,
Yeah.
when you were two. Why? Right?
Yeah. Why?
Only
Why are we
parents of
here?
young children will really appreciate that.
Yeah. But why?
I think that's a really good wrap up on that, right? I think that wraps this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Of kind of getting into being good partners. Where do you start? Start with why.
Yeah. And I guess then if we were to open this up to the listeners and invite them to share their insights with us, what can we ask them?
Yeah.
I've got some ideas, but I'll let you go first, John. What can we ask them to do?
Yeah, I'd love to hear from our listeners. What's the kind of an example of the best truly collaborative business conversation and ultimately business plan that you put together with a partner? And like, how is that different than so many of the other ones that you've done? And then maybe talk a little bit about kind of what their experiences have been in terms of building the trust to get to the why. How do you get someone to trust you so that they tell you their real why? What are the ones you want to hear?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's kind of it. Is how do you get a partner to trust you? I think that pretty much sums it
That's
up
a
for
whole nother
me.
episode, right?
Yeah, but I think I'd love to hear other people's success stories because I think that in turn gives the community a way for everyone to support one another and share a bit of best practice. So I'm looking forward to reading how other people bring the why.
Yeah. All right, listeners, it's up to you.
Thank you for joining us on the Partnership Path today. Remember, in the vast world of partner management, you have the potential to shine, to become the authority in your field. Don't let the journey end here. Subscribe, reflect, and lead. Together, let's redefine the essence of partnership in today's dynamic partner ecosystem. Until next time,